Life has always been a struggle for those who fail to fall into a group made by the standards of society. But this is true even more so for those who have had to fight tooth and nail to challenge superstition and conservative mindsets to not only fit but make themselves their own place in society. Those belonging to the LGBTQ community go through not only society's unreasonable expectations, but also face the discrimination and taunts that come along with associating with the LGBTQ community. But this never made them, these strong individuals, lose hope. They fought for what was theirs, their rights, their beliefs, their values, and above all, the recognition that they deserve. A very warm welcome to all of our listeners. My name is Akash, and Aman and I will be the host today for the fourth episode of Izhaar. And today, to celebrate Bisexual Awareness Week, which is from the 16th of September to the 23rd of September, we have with us two such individuals who have made a name for themselves in the community by being inspirations for some and pillars of hope for a lot more. Individuals who have made sacrifices and have struggled to make a place for their people in their society. I would like to welcome you to the podcast and introduce you to all our guests for the day, Chris Fernandes and Francis Fernandez. Welcome, sir, both of you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Yes,
good evening to both of you. And we are pleased to have you here for our audience and for ourselves. It's a pleasure for us to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here with you guys also.
Thank you so much, sir.
So I'll briefly introduce the both of you to our listeners. So Chris Fernandes, whose pronouns are he, him, is the co-founder and is the CEO and founder of Goa Rainbow Trust. He is 39 years old and identifies as a trans man residing in Mapusa, Goa. Until 1990, his family was staying in Abu Dhabi and then shifted to Goa. He has done his diploma in the hotel industry and then his nursing too. He loves music and it is the way for him to unwind. He loves nature and animals and helps in rescuing both big and small creatures. Believes that every human should live and let live, be it with caste, culture, rich, poor, orientation, color, and religion. Respect is very important. That's the reason why Goa Rainbow Trust is formed. Fight towards humanity, embracing diversity. And next up, we have Francis Fernandez, whose pronouns are also he, him. He is the co-founder and chairman of Goa Rainbow Trust. He is 27 years old and an openly gay man residing in Borim, Goa for the last 10 years. He spent his first 16 years of his life in one of the smallest countries in the Middle East, the state of Kuwait. He also identifies as an androgynous in terms of his gender expression and a homoromantic demisexual, an identity that lies on the asexuality spectrum. He is a mechanical engineer by qualification and has worked for an automotive dealership as an in-dealer trainer for a year. He loves music and mostly you would hear him belting out songs as he loves to sing. He also enjoys reading books and writing poetry, both of which were fairly recent discoveries. He is currently pursuing writing and until now has published a book in the poetry genre titled Music to My Poetry. He likes to believe that as human beings, we're all an integral part of a rainbow, which has a relatable symbolism. We are all a shade of color, and when we come together, we become that beautiful band that stands for unity and diversity. Once again, it is a pleasure to have both of you here for our podcast, and we hope that you inspire every one of our listeners who are going to listen to it now or even 2-3 years from now on.
Yes, we have already been inspired and now we hope that our audience who will listen to you will also get inspired by your words.
We hope so too. We hope so. We can do that too.
Your accomplishments, everything you've done so far. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
First, we'll just start by having some normal conversations. So how was your day today? And how's the weather in Goa?
Nervous about the podcast, about the recordings. It's your second experience.
So, yeah, not exactly nervous per se. I mean, my day starts off late most of the time. Since we are at home and I'm working part time, it's I get up at 12. Sometimes today I got up at 1 o'clock. So my day starts late. Have lunch and I was working a little. So yeah, that's pretty much how my day goes most of the time. And the weather out here is,
Has it been raining there?
it
It
has been
has.
raining,
Hmm.
and we've had like power cuts the entire day. From the time I woke up, it's like so many power cuts. I
It's a
was
very
like
dicey
a bit
situation.
worried that it would like the lights would go when we were having this podcast. It may go. I have the other light also on, so like let's see how that goes.
Yeah, we always should have a backup option because it has been raining in Delhi also
Yeah,
since
it's been
morning.
here raining like
Yeah.
cats and dogs. So it's very dicey. How about you, Chris? How's your day been?
I'm an early bird. Get up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 max, then coffee and take my dog down, and yeah, that's my daily routine. Food, making their food, all that stuff. Listening to music most of the time, as usual.
That's it's a
Yeah,
very like
'cause-
music is just
Yeah,
everybody
music.
loves. It's a very
Exactly.
good true.
yeah, and playing my guitar when I feel like it, because we've got other stuff going on.
I
Even
mean,
I also start my day with the guitar and the music, and it has always been so good when you start your day with the music because
With
there's
music.
something to chill about and like it suits your personality all over.
Yeah, it's like getting you sorted out, like grounded basically.
Yeah,
When
Yeah.
you've got
actually,
music in your mindset.
In my case, it's like just random moments of time that I listen to music. I feel like it.
Yeah, I usually listen to music when I'm doing something that does not require all of my concentration. So that's
No, but
usually always.
because even when I'm taking Fudge down, my music system is still on my mobile. I'm still listening to music and taking her down, like playing with the dogs or whatever. It's the same. The music is there non-stop with me.
It's great.
Even when I'm
Yes.
cooking something or making some exotic stuff, music has to be there.
And
So
any
yeah,
run-ins with the animals today?
today, no, today the langur also did not come. So
Yeah.
Okay.
he must have gone to the other house.
For the
Because
Not
bananas.
enough from your place
Good.
with the
Three,
bananas.
three houses, right?
3 houses. Yeah, one us and 2 houses across the road. It's like just a so
That's
he
great.
gets his thing going on. Food.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay, so with that out of the way, we'll start with the more of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
So
The main reason for we being coming here today.
yeah,
Let's just start it.
to talk about your experiences in your journey.
Yeah.
So I'll start with the first question. This is for the both of you. So in this day and age where India has gained some momentum towards becoming more progressive and we're constantly being more adaptive and more than being just a secular country, we're moving towards being a country that is accepting everybody irrespective of their orientation and not just their castes and religions. So keeping this in mind and keeping understanding where you've both come and the amount of work you've done, what are some of your pet peeves, biggest pet peeves, something that if you heard somebody say or do in public or even at your NGO, at your house, around your society, locality, what is something that would make your blood boil, that would make you want to fight them or argue with them, correct them? So we'll start with Francis.
First of all, like with regards to the question, like we do say that we are like progressing in a way, a country is progressing, but that does not like necessarily seem like the case most of the time, right? Because there's like so much going on in the whole world right now, and in India also. Like we say we are secular, but there is a lot to work on that front too, right? With regards to the LGBTQI plus community also, like there is so much work to be done, right? Section 377 being read down was just like one of the steps, right? Right now, the community has filed petitions in the Delhi High Court for marriage equality, but we have all seen how that has turned out. It has been postponed for like I don't know for how many months right now. I've like lost count how many times it has been postponed. So like yeah, like you could say those are also kind of like pet peeves in a way. It's like it really gets you because like we deserve that respect too. We deserve equal human rights. Like that's what it is. That's what we're fighting for, right? It's not like uh, we are fighting for just us as LGBTQI plus individuals. We're fighting for so many. We're fighting for equality in general, right?
Hmm.
And I think another pet peeve would be when it comes to gender association, which happens a lot. Like especially when it comes to like clothing or names or colors, so many things. Like people, if you find a guy wearing pink, which
Yeah.
is rarely the case actually. Like most of the guys do not like to wear pink also because they feel like it's a color for girls, right? And that mindset is uh, it's kind of passed on from generations past, right? And so it does boil your blood when like you try to explain to people like every person is different in their own way. Like we are a population of over 7 billion individuals in this world, right? And you cannot put people in just like a few boxes, right?
Yeah.
Each
Exactly.
person is unique in their own way, and as human beings we are like very complex. We're not simple to understand. You cannot oversimplify anything for any human being, right? Each person has their own identity, each person has their own understanding of themselves. And I think like what we fail to understand is that this very fact, we fail to understand this, that each person is different.
While grouping into smaller, dividing
Into
people,
small.
Yeah,
we lose
exactly.
that individuality that they possess.
Exactly. Like it comes in the fashion industry too.
Yeah.
And it's not just with regards to gender association also. It's you know uh, with our bodies also, like especially trans individuals face it the most because they are like the most visible, right? You do not find a lot of trans individuals in fashion. Like right now slowly that is
It's getting
happening.
better,
It is,
getting
yeah,
there.
it's getting
Yeah.
better, but I don't think I would say it's getting better in India. On the international front, yes, it is getting better, but in India per se it's not yet there. Like we have a lot of work to do. We have a
Yeah.
lot of we have we have mindsets to change, right? Because you can have the laws and all that, but unless mindsets change, we are not going to progress.
Years and years of
Exactly.
conservative mindsets. It's
Yes, exactly.
okay.
And it all starts with conversations.
Yeah.
But many a times, like in most of the metro cities, you do have conversations happening around these kind of so-called taboo topics.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
in most of the remote areas and rural areas and all, you do not have these conversations happening.
Exactly. Like
Right?
people
People do
don't
not even
want to
want to
come
talk
up.
about it. Yeah, they do not want to start that conversation also. The moment
Yeah.
they hear the words gay, lesbian, or something like that, it's like
Like out
don't
of there.
even like bring it up.
Yeah. It's
Just no.
just like
Just
you
taboo
you
to
don't want to
speak
speak
about.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's very frustrating, obviously, even
Yeah,
as a someone who's not, even as me, it's very frustrating that people do not want to come up to the truth and not accept it and live in denial.
exactly. And also, like, since we are um, entering Bisexual Awareness Week, there are a lot of things people say about bisexual individuals. Like, that it is like, of course, like, people who identify as gay or trans or any other identity under the LGBTQI plus spectrum, they do get this statement like it's just a phase. But bisexual people, I think they get it even worse in a way.
We're
It's
just
just
Yeah.
people are like, oh,
experimenting.
they're just experimenting, or they're not serious about anything. And it's not just from the cisgender heterosexual individuals out there. It's also from people within the community. That is the worst part. Like we have a lot of internalized homophobia, like within the community itself, which needs to be like done with.
Like it's just not about the like fight against the group, but within the group also, like you have to come up with these kind of situations and the talks.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's because again, all of us have been like raised with those kind of ideologies, right? We have
Exactly.
our entire systems are, kind of, they revolve around those ideologies.
It's very
So we have been
instinctive.
brought up. Yeah, exactly. So to unlearn that is like very difficult, most of the for many individuals. But like for us, like within the community itself, we have a lot of work to do for ourselves. Like like educating fellow LGBTQI plus members about the diversity within the community.
Yeah.
Because again, you mostly see this in cisgender gay men, mostly the men mainly, right? Especially if they're cisgender, they resort to femme shaming and trans shaming, or even body shaming for that matter. It's very toxic. The environment is very toxic. So like there's a lot of work that needs to be done within here itself.
Yeah, and you rightly said that the things revolve around, like even when we are being not exposed to the color pink, the boys think that okay, like it is not just a thing for us, even when they didn't try it. Yeah, so it is always like coming from the society that, and they started to believe those things, and they don't want to change now. Like
Even
they
if
have been
not believe, it's like so
yeah,
hardwired into you that even if you
exactly.
don't want to say it or think it, it just comes instinctively to people.
Yeah,
Especially, and unlearning them is like impossible, especially when you refuse to talk about this.
Exactly. It's like you can kind of like relate it to how computers are programmed. Like they are set to work in a particular way. Your entire operating
Yeah.
system is set to work in a particular way, right? And like you try to fidget with that, something is going to get messed up, right?
Yeah.
But unless like
yeah,
a person who has knowledge about
Understand. Yeah.
doing, the understanding to do that does it.
And
Like
even
it is
so, they
something like that.
spend hours and hours with it and they
yeah,
debug it
Exactly.
and they understand what's
exactly.
wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, and the same way our minds have been programmed from childhood, right? That is the time where our brains are developing. And so, like, whatever you feed into a child's mind, it stays throughout their life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? And to unlearn that, it becomes very difficult. Like, for example, even like when we talk about pronouns, right? We have learned just he,
Yeah.
she pronouns.
throughout
Now,
those years,
you
throughout.
Yeah.
exactly,
They,
exactly
at most,
the
they
English
even so it's
language.
so hard for us to
I mean, yeah,
use they.
exactly. I mean, we do use they in a singular form. We have
Yeah.
used it also in the English language, but like right now, when uh, we do find it a bit difficult to, I think remember to use the right pronouns because many a times, uh, our minds have been kind of trained to associate a pronoun based on one's appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, like okay, if someone looks like, I mean, that's what gender is associated with, again, appearance,
Look. Yeah.
right?
appearance.
Which is like actually your appearance has nothing to do with your gender.
Exactly. It seemed right
Exactly.
when there were just two genders, but then
Yeah, but
now that
that's not
it's
the case.
come along, it's not right.
Exactly. So
No,
unlearning
because
that is also like very difficult. Yeah.
because yeah, the thing is, like with me, let's put it as me because I'm a trans man right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough. But I'm not going to do my HRT. But I would prefer being called Chris and he and him when you use the pronouns. But when you've got your family involved and relatives and neighbors also, they are not willing to change that mindset. Like even if you keep
yeah,
on drilling it in their head, saying, I prefer being called Chris because I'm going to change that name also legally.
Yeah.
So prefer being called Chris. I will not be changing my organs or such, but that's very important. You respect what I am.
Yeah. You
That
respect their
respect,
you
wishes.
respect what you.
don't throw me off base or it hurts actually, but because I don't have this thing called dysphoria, I'm okay. Like even if my mom calls me she most of the time, but
It's
when
very
you call
upsetting,
me, yeah, it does
especially
irritate for
coming
a
from
split
family who
second.
would.
It's a,
Split second, it does hit a nerve, but then I'm like, forget it. There's no point
and
because
then all
to
those things coming up again, like throughout those years when the split second hits, and all those experiences and come up in just a way, even if you don't want to.
yeah, because you the person has already grown up. The person has decided what the person wants to be, whether it's a trans man or a trans woman or a gay or a lesbian or a bisexual or whichever platform the person wants, whichever queer spectrum the person wants to be. Learn to respect that person, because
Exactly. It's
if
like,
you respect that person will respect you back. You don't respect us, have a hope we are going to respect you. We might not say it on your face, but we do have this how to talk
grudges against, yeah.
grudges. Yeah. We've got our own way of, like how
It's
Francis
like,
also said, it's because now see, if Goa Rainbow Trust, why we decided to have Goa Rainbow Trust, it's because it's not only for one box. Goa Rainbow Trust is not for like the gays or the lesbians or the bisexual. It's for the whole spectrum, including allies. So it makes it more inclusive of everything. That makes more sense, because then if you don't know something, ask. It's better to ask someone.
ignorance is
Ask,
always, it's
ignore.
always better to come up
So
front than ignore and then just stay ignorant, obviously.
Exactly.
yeah, because
Again, even like when you talk about asking, right? People have a very weird way of asking questions also
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's like they're so secretive
Yeah.
about it. Like there's the stigma that you just should not, even if you're like, even if I as an LGBTQ person, even I could not, because there's such a stigma about talking about these stuff, and they're so secretive about it. Like, what should I call you? What are you? That's so secretive.
but it's
I'm
safer
not
to
just talking
call
about
or ask.
secretive. Sometimes it is like the question itself they ask is like offensive. The way they frame the question is offensive. Like, I had long hair. Okay, I had grown my hair out, and I'm not sure if you have seen my Insta, but like I identify as androgynous, which means I have both feminine and masculine characteristics, as in like in 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 terms of like the way I present myself,
Yeah.
right? So I love heels. So like I have posted pictures in heels and stuff like that, and then I've got questions from people like, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And that is offensive. Like not, I do not take much offense to it per se, but like it is offensive to the fact that there are not just two genders, because by asking that question you are again like asserting that there are only two genders.
You're
Like there
trying to
is,
categorize people into
Yeah,
something you
Two
can
boxes,
personally understand,
basically.
because it's so
exactly,
close-minded. You have to put people somewhere that you can understand and not try to
exactly,
understand what they want you to.
exactly. I
like,
mean, there are other ways you can ask the same question, like
Yeah,
in a
like
more
what do you
polite manner.
identify as, instead of just
Exactly,
saying, coming
and
forward
it
and saying, what are you?
and it also denotes that there are only two genders. When they say, "Are you a boy
that's
or a
what.
girl?" It means that they're believing that there are only two kind of peoples in the world, and there are
Exactly.
no other such things. So when they
Yeah,
ask
so,
these things, yeah.
so and our community is like so vast that I, I get it. It's difficult to understand it, but at the end of the day, like whether you understand it or not, you should respect the person for
Yeah,
the for being a
for the
human being.
choices they've made.
Exactly.
And sometimes you feel like that you should be getting the respect being as a person, not as a gender, like whatever the gender it is, like at least being a person you should be getting that respect. You
Absolutely
feel like
right.
that, yeah.
For example, like a lot of people like say respect your elders. I mean, again, that factor of age being the reason why you should respect. That's not how it should be. You respect another individual for being a person, for being a human being, just like
Being a
you.
Yeah,
person,
for who
yeah.
they are, for the
Yeah.
qualities they possess.
For their
Exactly.
Yeah,
personality.
because
But
even if you try to correct your elders, that's another problem. You are not allowed
Yeah,
in our
yeah.
generation, because I'm
yeah,
from the 81 born, right? So we've
Yeah.
learned that thing. You're not supposed to talk back to
correct.
them. You're not
Yeah,
supposed to. There are a lot
Even
of
now,
not supposed to's.
Exactly.
even now,
Yeah, but
you're
then
it's
not
just,
just,
it's like this.
So
It's
you're
not
not
like
allowed to correct them or not allowed to say, this is not what it is. It's this. That's
yeah,
the until it's actually put into their face, they don't get it. They actually don't get it. And then they'll say,
yeah.
you didn't tell us. I'm like,
yeah.
when you tell them, it's like you can drill it into their head, and then they'll still be like,
So
it goes
clueless
out
about
the,
it.
It is
yeah. And
like you
then
cannot
when
get
it happens,
two, you cannot go two ways at the same time, yeah.
yeah, it's like, yeah. So that's the whole concept, because trying to tell somebody something who might be older than you, be it
Yeah,
family or relatives or even neighbors for that matter, and trying to explain doesn't work. So might as well let them do it, let
Yeah,
them get it right into their face, and then they will know that okay. Because if I have to tell somebody something, generally, I will tell them once, twice, third
yeah,
time.
exactly.
That's it. Then I will not carry on.
and
Then
this
let
should
it
be the
go the way
way.
it's supposed
Because
to.
Yeah,
it's also disrespectful to you having to explain yourself over and over again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
it means
Self-respect.
like you are putting on something when you are explaining the things again and again, that like you've been trying very hard, and that should not be the case like with them.
Yeah, because it becomes a broken record.
Yeah.
It basically become might as well record it. Okay, you want to hear it again? I'll record it for you, kind of a thing. That's the whole concept, because you can't, you seriously cannot.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
okay. We'll also take one from you. Is there anything else, Francis? Some other just violent. Okay, so we'll take one from you, Chris. Other than what Francis said, something else, some other pet peeve. Not necessarily even related to LGBTQ. Maybe something else.
No, okay. So then there's another thing, which okay, everybody basically has these apps today's day, like the Grinder,
Yeah.
Blue, Mingle,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Correct.
Yeah.
That also causes a lot of problem, because some people, what do you call it? They say they're from the community, and then they try to scam you financially, or ask you for pictures or a lot of other stuff. It's like,
Okay.
yeah, because people have had experiences, and so much so when people have met certain this, and then they've got molested and raped, because
Okay.
it's a lot of, that's what the Francis and I have gone through these kind of topics, as in people have called us up and all that stuff, and we had to ask help from a lawyer who has done our trust deed. And so these are these things that, because see, I know Francis, he knows me for so many odd years now.
Yeah.
We know each other quite well. So, but if you meet somebody on these apps and you actually don't know those people, then you have to be very cautious.
Very dicey, exactly.
Very, very
Because it can
cautious,
be
because
dangerous in so many ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
Problematic.
because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't, you basically
Feels that
don't know this
people have
person.
even been more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, because
That is another thing like we are trying to do is like, alert people as much as possible.
Yeah, awareness, obviously the first step to prevention.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing which you can do is to be like being in a secure position, like to not fall in any danger, because you don't want trouble. Anyone don't want trouble because of unnecessary means.
Yeah. And with respect to what Chris has said just now, like especially during the pandemic, it has really like
gone
shot up
sky high.
a lot.
Yeah,
Like there
yeah.
have been a lot
Yeah.
of cases during the pandemic. First of all, there's like the pandemic has caused a lot of sexual frustration also in a way. So people are like desperate to meet others, and they make these like mistakes of like not getting to know that person properly, like like
Going out on a whim.
from a
Yeah.
from a safety perspective, and then like these people end up scamming them and then blackmailing them, and mainly the people who are targeted are the ones who are in the closet, because of course like people who are out of the closet will not be much of a target because they cannot do much, they cannot
Nothing
extort
to
a lot of
lose.
money from them or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
You're
people who are
rightly.
in the closet, there's that fear which they instill in them, like okay, they will tell this one, they will post it here or there, there's a lot, so people have to be like very very careful.
You rightly
Exactly.
said, because when you lose your rationality, then the split decision are like that.
Yeah, because then they end up saying they love you and this, that, and the other, and then your mind goes bonkers,
There's a
as
lot
in,
of
okay,
emotional
somebody
black.
loves you, that's about it, and then whatever else happens after that, it's
Because you
most of
cannot
the
read
time it's a
the
bad, yeah,
yeah. Because you cannot
uh,
read the intentions on someone's face.
intentions of the person. Because
Yeah.
first of all, you're just chatting with the person, or once in a blue moon, you're talking to the person, but what's in that person's mindset,
Yeah. Exactly.
you have no idea. So yeah. That's the whole.
And some people make it like so, like, so believable that they are like good people and stuff like that, that you cannot like find red flags.
Yeah.
They are so good at the like talking it out or whatever,
Yeah.
convincing someone that they'll do anything for you and they're willing to come to Goa. Same with me.
Yeah.
Come to Goa and this, that, and that. And you take it the way it's supposed to because you you take it from the horse's mouth basically, na?
Yeah,
Because-
everybody looks for like trust, somebody you can trust, and some sort of confidant.
Yeah, but then the thing is with these kind of people, you don't know the other person's friends. You don't know their background. You have no idea
Like
So-
from where they are coming.
where they are coming from or
What their intentions
what
are.
they are. No, forget. Apart from intentions, you don't know their background. You don't know what kind of friend circle it is because okay, let's
Yeah,
put it like
okay.
this. We are from the LGBTQ community, right? Friends know friends from different this. So we can ask around, who is this person? Do you know this person? But if these people from these apps try to hide their identity and lot of other stuff, some of them even have these actors and actresses faces on. And then when you confront it, South Indian actors and actresses, I've had this once. So when I've confronted it, this person just blocked me. Get what I'm saying?
That is actually another pet peeve which I have, the whole blocking thing, especially on apps like Tinder, Grindr, and stuff like that. If a person blocks you, you lose the chat. So like even if you would have proof to file a complaint,
File a
that is also
complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, like that is another like big pet peeve I have about most of these apps, the whole blocking scenario. Remember, like his dog started barking. See, this is the other problem I was talking about with the pronouns. We're so accustomed to using like old pronouns because like when I met Chris,
So sorry.
Not
he used she her pronouns at that time, and
Yeah,
like
one
I keep like reverting back to using she her pronouns for Chris many times. Like that is how our minds are programmed. Like
Yeah,
once something stays for so long in your mind, it's like difficult to
Change
like
that.
yeah, exactly.
Like
It
make
becomes
necessary adjustments to that.
for us,
Yeah,
it's easy.
some
You tell us to use
subconscious.
this, and we use this. We have no experience, no background, so it's easier for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we proceed to the next question, or something else.
I think we can proceed to the next question.
Okay, Amin.
Okay. So I'll be asking the next question. So my question is, what have been some of the wins for you throughout your journey for being bisexual? Like, what are those wins and those situations throughout your journey which you consider as a win being a bisexual? Like all the work, all these activities and the task or whatever. You both can like answer this question. This is for both of them.
Taking that? Or do you
Yeah,
want me
definitely.
to?
Okay. To be honest,
Both.
Francis and I are not bisexual, by the way.
Yeah, that.
Okay. So the bisexual thing is a bit off the radar because we are not like that. But starting something which in Goa, I'm not saying there are no other NGOs per se, but what Francis and I decided was to have everyone on board basically, as in the other NGOs also, as in if you want to have like the Pride or you want to have a trans health workshop or something or the other, get all the other NGOs together from the community. And those are some of the things that we wanted to do. But yeah, let's see how it goes. But we've had seminars in the colleges, some of the colleges, right? And what do you call it? One seminar for the psychology teachers also. And because Goa Rainbow Trust, we've only just, this is going to be our third year, but 1.5 years, so the pandemic took place, right? So
Yeah,
we
it's
had to stay on dormant basically until everything kind of subsides. But yeah,
so like
those
all
were
those
some of the
seminars are
things.
like helping people in a way. So it's also a great win for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We have a webinar scheduled for 19.
Which is called pronouns again, by the way.
It's on misgendering and dead
It's
naming. So yeah,
misgendering pronouns. Yeah. So that's also there. And then, but to get things in order again, it's quite tough, to be honest. It's quite tough because, first of all, Goa is such a small state. So
Yeah.
people know people, and people
And the
who are from the community also, and people who are allies, if they mix around with us, sometimes people will think like they're from the community. So if we are friends with them, then they get a bit scared. So yeah,
Oh,
but we're
They
still
say
trying
that people
to.
will assume that they also are LGBTQIA plus and they stay away.
like Goa is being a very diverse state, like
Yeah, I mean it is diverse in a way, but also you have a lot of conservative mindset here too.
okay.
yeah.
But yeah, I think like it's still like you could say that being able to you know like get to at least 3 years right now, I think that itself is a big win for us in a way.
Yeah, that definitely.
Even, yeah, despite all the setbacks like that we've had, but like it is still a big win. And with respect to like the bisexual part, um, again, if the question was like win for like bisexual community, again, since we don't identify as bisexual, like we cannot speak on their behalf, right? Because like yes, we do represent the entire community, but again, it is better when each each part of the community speaks on their own behalf, because then that has more weight, right? Because it's coming from their own experiences. Because like we would not know their exact experiences, right? They will
Like
be
they
able
have
to
their
narrate
own journeys. Yeah,
exactly their own journey.
exactly.
So, and the same goes for with almost every other part of the community. Like we have got questions in the past regarding trans individuals also, but like of course, Chris can speak on behalf of trans men. I particularly do not, speak on behalf of them because I don't identify as trans. Right? I do not know their struggles in particular.
Okay.
No, because see, generally, I can speak on behalf of trans men, but you'll find because we are mostly invisible. The trans men are mostly invisible. Very few of them actually go for the surgery and all, right? But
Yeah.
you'll find a lot of trans women. And sometimes, like if I go to the market or whatever, you'll see people saying things, and it does hurt because it's not right. It's just not right.
It's not
It's
just right.
safer
Yeah.
to. It's safer because at the end of the day, those people also, what do you call it? They have to have food on the table to fill their stomach.
Yeah.
So that's why they're begging because you're not giving them jobs. You're not giving them anything. No housing, no nothing. So what else can these
Right, from
people do?
education.
No,
And the acceptance also.
not education, fair enough, but skills. If the person doesn't want to be educated because it's book like theory, right? So give them some skills like tailoring or
Vocational skills. Yeah.
mechanical or beautician stuff or something or the other which they want to do.
That's
That
what
makes more
the
sense. It's
entire
the
training
skills.
part comes under like educating them in a way.
Educate.
It is a different kind of education. It's more
Sorry, yeah.
manual,
Then
right? But
theory.
like, yeah, it's still like they
More
don't
practical.
like
Something they can
they have
More
actually make
practical.
use of.
yeah even if they do try and get an do try to get an education, they are bullied
Yeah.
most of the time. So
Because
then they drop out.
Yeah, a
Like,
lot of
yeah,
trans people have actually dropped off. Lot of them have actually dropped out, and that's
Also,
where even we've sent a letter to the education department regarding this topic to have it in the syllabus, like talk about the trans
we have
people.
drafted the letter. We are yet to send it out.
We have yet to send it, sorry, but to the education department in Goa, because if they've got like we've done it in Chogles, we've done it in seminars in Chogles, DMCs, then Nirmala's. So if it's already in the pipeline, basically getting to understand what the queer community is like, might as well get the trans thing also in
Yeah.
the education board.
Yeah, and by sending them a letter, what we want to do is actually, have sensitization programs in schools and colleges, so that, because that is the time when, again, as I said, like when you're young, your brain is in that development stage when you can grasp these concepts and they stick with you throughout your life, right? So when young individuals understand that, it becomes easier for them to explain it to their future generations also, right? Because of course explaining it to people from older generations is a bit
It's difficult.
more difficult. Yeah,
Yeah, they have like what 70, 80 years of experience. They've lived through it.
Yeah, exactly.
But but then they've lived through it because their parents have taught them and their grandparents, and it's that same cycle. It's that same cycle non-stop.
Repeating again and again.
the
Yeah.
generation that breaks the cycle.
Yeah.
It's
So
also
trying to
probably
break
so
the
hard.
cycle,
Or
trying to
else it
break
will
that
keep
cycle is
rotating.
quite
Exactly. That's why, like, rather than going backwards, we have to try, you know,
Put it
Make-
forward. Yeah.
towards
because
the
we're in the 21st century, right?
You
Yeah,
focus
exactly.
on the people who you can improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the younger generation is quite open to these ideologies also. They are
Yes.
more like exposed to, like, you have the internet, they are exposed to a
Yeah.
lot of, like, their minds are already quite open.
Yeah, they understand that there's like, even if they don't accept it, or even if they somewhere, they at least have the knowledge that yes, there's more than just these two, and there's more
Yeah.
to it.
And
Yeah.
it is
No,
more
basically
likely
they are
for
willing to
them.
listen. They are willing to listen.
Yeah, yes,
That's
that
important again.
that too. Yeah.
Exactly.
The listening is important. Like if you're telling me something and I'm like, okay, I don't have the time. That doesn't make sense.
The
That
time,
that means you
and
don't have the this to
most of the
listen to the
elder,
person.
most of the elderly
Most
people
of
are
the
also so sorry.
correct. No, most of the elder people don't have that thing
They
in their
don't have
thing
that
because
patience, and they don't have like, they're like, at this age I don't have the
I don't have
need
the.
to even gain this knowledge anymore.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
And it
Yeah.
is the young
That's-
people who are more likely to like bring the change in. Like for them, it is like
Exactly.
the chances are like high to bring in a change.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, like most of the people like who have lived already, like even us, for example, we have lived so many years right now.
Yeah.
We are like fighting for our rights and all that stuff. We have not been able to uh, achieve it, or we may achieve it, we may not. We don't know what like the future holds, like as we are alive. But at least the generations to come can, like, enjoy what we may have missed out
Yeah.
on.
Your legacy,
All
what you
that,
leave
yeah.
behind.
They
Like
can, yeah, exactly, like we can at least pave that way for them so that they can have a better life than like we or people before us had.
Exactly. It's like the same as every other struggle. One generation struggles so that the next does not have to.
Exactly.
because it will be inspiring in such a way that the other people will stand up against that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on with the third question.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll talk specifically about 377. So what was your reaction personally, both of you, and as a community, when Section 377 was struck down and relationship among those of the LGBT community were legalized? So both personally and as a community, was there an uproar, or was there like how much appreciation of it was there?
Well, speaking personally, yes, definitely. Like, I remember that day I was literally in Panjim. That same day the verdict came out. I was in Panjim in the morning, or in the afternoon or something. I met a friend that day, and I was just I knew the hearing was that day, and I was scrolling through my phone, and then when it came out, I was so happy, that emotion comes on you,
Yeah,
you get overwhelmed with that emotion. Yeah, it was definitely uh, a huge victory, because and it's not just for the LGBTQ community, it's for all consenting adults, because Section 377 basically criminalized any carnal intercourse with, irrespective of gender. Actually,
yeah,
it was not specifically same sex, but it was anything that was against,
unnatural.
against the, yeah. So that included cisgender heterosexual individuals also.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it was a win. So it was like paving a path, but it was just
Yeah.
legalized for the LGBTQ.
Yeah.
But you now
Exactly.
have something legal to back you up on your next whatever you like
Like it was
next.
a general standard for the all.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
of course, we are not criminals for consent. It's really funny that
There was a
people
law as
found
that.
that,
There was a
yeah, that law existed when non-consensual activities happening around rape and stuff like that
Yeah,
did not have that weight. There was no weight to the justice system in that respect, right? But something which was consensual, it's really weird.
yeah, like how what you choose to make legal and not legal.
Exactly.
But great
The whole
progress.
thought process around that was weird,
Yeah,
especially considering that the Delhi High Court decriminalized it, then the Supreme Court overturned the judgment,
yeah.
and then the
exactly.
Supreme Court again
Because at the
they
end of the
did the
day,
damage control also.
the people who were in charge of it were still conservative, religious people who were like, just this is not okay for us. People who were not willing to accept. So it got overturned.
Yeah,
But that's
I
the
do
another
feel
problem, na? Because why is religion and
Exactly.
politics again coming in the same pipeline? These two are
Legislature
different
should be,
pipelines. They
yeah,
It's
shouldn't
all,
legislation
yeah.
should
actually
not
come
be
together
same.
at all.
And it's always been there. It's always been there.
But that's the problem, na?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all. That's the problem.
Because you believe in whatever you want. It's
Yeah.
between you and your God.
yeah,
Because
but you have the law for religious freedom also.
yeah.
Hmm?
The thing is, religious,
Constitution, we have the right to religious freedom.
Religion, yeah.
yeah. But
The
But
freedom of
the-
it.
people, it's like humans just tend to sort of
if they
push
can,
their ideas on other people, and they think
no,
it's
if they
wrong for you
cannot,
to.
if they cannot understand it, their fear is there. So that's
Yeah,
when they actually pounce.
yeah,
Because they are not willing to understand. So if you cannot, it's like, okay, fine. Put it like this. If you don't understand a, like a snake or a squirrel, and if it's dying or whatever, and you don't know what to do, then you just let it be, right? You either kill
Yeah.
it or save it. It's the same situation.
yeah,
It's the same situation, because if you don't understand the concept of whatever the person is going through, or speak to somebody from the community, get to know whatever the thing is. Don't just because you have
Because, yeah.
it's your mindset that says this is wrong. Fair enough, it is
yeah.
wrong.
Because
It's
it's
wrong
on
Two
for you.
women getting together or two men getting together because they are in love.
And
But
it's not only you
it's-
who's living in this society, so you cannot just
Exactly.
put your belief on
Huh.
everyone. Yeah,
That's the
Exactly.
problem.
exactly.
You cannot have your own whims and fancies just because you all have created law.
It's like what I think is the supreme, and what others think I don't care. So
I don't.
that's what I think is the supreme truth.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, anyone doing whatever they want for themselves has nothing to do with anyone else.
Yeah,
Why bother?
yeah.
It's not affecting you in any way. Why bother?
In other circumstances also, even without
Yeah.
377, in all those circumstances, like it should be for each individual, not for just a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what the statements in the verdict also. I have the PDF of that entire this case.
yeah.
I just kept it. I have not read the entire thing because it's over 400 pages long.
Oh,
But yeah, the end, the conclusion, I did read that part, and they have not stated anything regarding same-sex individuals or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just consenting adults, just adults. That's the only thing.
Like they're not specifying the thing.
Yeah, because the law itself, like Section 377 itself was not particularly a law for the LGBTQI plus community. It was criminal for even cisgender heterosexual, but we were the ones affected by it because mainly when you had like the cops would harass people using that law. And they used that because of the prejudice also associated with the community. That was the problem. But actually the law was for basically anyone.
Everyone,
yeah.
But the major section affected was it like?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you would find two men holding hands or two holding hands, people would turn around to look. And before the 377 was brought down, people would be like, and the cops would also go, even if that person was a trans woman and she was holding a guy's hand, the cops would go, and then things would go haywire. Basically, they would ask them for money and
all those like wild part, the blackmailing, the harassment comes in the part.
Like even like a lot of I think a lot of cisgender heterosexual individuals also were sometimes scared to even like get out at night. They were just going out as friends, but they were scared that cops might harass them because of this entire.
Because there are experience who people faced it, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
this is a thing in the mind. Okay, this can happen to us also. There are chances.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot the question. Okay, and Chris. So
I think I remember it. It is regarding the Delhi High Court 2013 judgment.
No. So first off, we'll just take Chris's. So your personal experience.
377.
Yeah. So
so I remember my dad had bought a pastry for me and like congratulated me, and then we had gone out. That's when we met up, right, Francis? We met up that time in Panjim in Miramar.
I was already in Panjim that time.
And that's the thing with this. So we've already got. It's like what do I say? It's like personally, I don't care about society. Where I'm concerned, I really don't care about society. I've never cared about society. It's if I feel it's right, it's right. Because it's not a joke for Francis and me starting a trust, because it takes a lot of this, right? So because when I spoke to my mom about it, she was saying like, no, don't do all this. Even when what do you call it? Even when people would interview me or whatever like that, and mom would be like, why you be in the background? Why do you? I said, I'm the CEO and founder. What do you want me to do? I can't do anything. It's like, so all these things during that time also, during the 377, this verdict time. But it's a challenge. But my dad was more accepted to what I am. But mom still. But okay, what else to say?
I think as a parent, it's like how children they'll be like, I don't want to become an engineer, I want to do this, I want to follow my passion, and parents would like, just not safe. I think as a parent, it's a lot of that as well, that they have to consider that if you do follow with this, what would society say, how would they treat you? And so there's that. As a parent, there's that you have to consider what happens to your child.
But see, the thing is what you cannot always protect your kid, right? Because you will be there for a certain time frame. Once you pass, who's going to protect your kid after that?
So you have to let them learn themselves.
You have to let them learn. You've got to let them fall. mistakes. That's when they.
That concept of independence is not there in India as such
It's
yet.
just,
It's slowly coming in, but like it's still like,
It's in the early stages.
But yeah, as you said,
Please,
like
it's not anywhere near the early stages. Also, I'm
exactly.
sorry.
Okay.
The
Because
only
today
thing
my
is
no,
that
early
because
stages
today my
as in
mom
not
gone with Francis.
with us.
the
No,
only
the
thing
thing
is
is
that
today my mom was like, "Na, Dwayne and send me the cake, okay, for my birthday, which was on the 11th." Today, mom's asked me, "Did you thank Dwayne?" I'm like, "I'm 40. What's wrong with you?" Seen the concept.
definitely.
She still thinks I'm a kid.
Yeah.
She still thinks I'm a kid.
But with respect to the parents part, like they do have that fear of like safety that is there, like especially like as Chris mentioned, like stay in the background. You do understand because like there are a lot of hate crimes which do happen, right? But again, it's it gets a bit too much at times.
Yeah.
That there's a limit between a fine line between like caring
And
and
overbearing.
And
overprotectiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Like,
if
when it gets
you
to
try to choke them that much, they will still walk out.
yeah.
They will still walk out, and then they might not come back.
Yeah.
You give them advice, and then let it be. That
Exactly.
makes more sense.
Let them take their own decision.
Huh.
Exactly.
Don't
It's like
try to choke them and say you are not allowed. It's like house arrest basically.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
it's very toxic.
it's
Because
very toxic. Just
is,
not
yeah.
like it makes an environment where you just cannot function as a human being anymore.
Yeah, there should be some
it-
structure, like
Yeah, exactly. And it
line.
breaks the individual's confidence also in themselves, their self-esteem.
Themselves. Yeah. They think
know?
maybe just I'm not good enough to be able to do something, not
Yeah.
make
Because ultimately,
that's the
decisions.
biggest problem actually. When
Yeah.
because when your parents or my mom today's day, when she says like this is not going to work out. Like, you've you've got
Should we
that
at least
thing in
try?
your head saying that
yeah,
I want to try this. I need somebody to at least back me up. But then
yeah,
when she says like, no, it's not going to work. The whole, it's like the jigsaw puzzle is totally broken down, and then you've got to start all over again from scratch.
like the
It's
motivation
like
sometimes not being
Motivation,
lost.
yeah.
they understand that they have the experience to back up their thought process and that but we don't.
Mm.
So for us, it's like, where are you even coming from? Why would you say that something that I want to personally do would just not work out?
Exactly. And also it may have not worked out. You may have tried it in the past. It may have
Yeah.
not worked out for you. But like, it may work out. Like at least, let us try.
People
Don't
are
like,
different, times are different.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, like it also like makes the individual feel like okay, they are not strong, and it makes them feel
Yeah.
even more weaker. It doesn't like let them build up that strength also, because
and
like in the case of animals, in the animal kingdom also, like especially with birds, like many
Mm.
birds, like
You let them
when they're
yeah.
young, the adult birds will actually push the little
Yeah.
ones out of the nest so that they can like learn
So
to
they
fly.
can learn to fly. Even if they
Right?
fall down,
That is how it should be.
Yeah. And
it
then
is more
humans
like
think like we just cannot do that. We cannot push our children or into that kind of danger, and so we'll just protect them. It's okay to some degree, to some age, but at some point you have to let go.
Exactly.
Okay.
yeah, because once upon a time, even our parents and all, they've also made mistakes.
Yeah.
And they've also fallen, not once, twice, a lot of times, but then they still stood up and carried on their journey, right? That's how we are what we are today's day. That's how we've come into existence.
Yeah.
So it's the same story. They should also let us experience falling down, getting up.
It's a part of
seeing
life.
those failures.
It's a
You
part
have
of
to
it.
get the
Yeah.
whole experience.
Not just, no, you cannot. You should not.
Yeah.
Don't use these words. Because even
It's
those
very
two words
deprecating as well.
actually, yeah, it does break the whole thing down back again. Then you feel like, should I or shouldn't I tell?
Yeah. You start hiding things, just not
Yeah,
in
then
the
you just like,
environment anymore.
yeah, because if you're not comfortable, then what's the point? Because in the back of your head, it'll be like, if I tell, will she understand? Or will that person understand? I'm not talking about my mom only. I'm talking about in general. If
In
somebody
general,
wants
yeah.
to do something and person wants to tell its parents or the elder sibling or whatever, and you know in the back of your head, this person is going to say, no, it's not going to work. So like, I might as well tell a friend and see
Then
what
yeah.
that person says.
So
Then
it's like ruins the person's mental health at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it is more like even if it won't work 100% right, but there are some part of it which will get successful, and that will still be a win situation. Like it is not like you are getting the 100% output whatever you're trying. But even if some part of it got successful, it is still a win situation. Like it is a continuous process, and the struggle, it won't happen in a day. It may take years and decades,
I
but
mean,
still
like,
the
you can take
it's
like
like Rome
any.
wasn't built in a day, huh? Rome
yeah, the
wasn't built
attempt
in
is
a
there.
day.
That's so
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you can even
It's
take
right.
like, for example, anything that flies, for example, or anything that moves. Basically, it starts at zero, right? It doesn't instantaneously reach 100 kilometers per hour, right? It slowly gains that
There's a
pace.
process. There's a process.
Exactly, it
Yeah,
takes
the
time.
momentum basically.
Exactly.
I'll
Yeah.
continue the question. I'll continue with the question. So the second part was that when the law was abolished in 2009, when the 377 was first struck down in 2009, and then the Supreme Court overruled the decision. What sort of an uproar was there in the community? Like, how did you react, and how much of hatred was given to the Supreme Court?
That was in 2013, right?
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah.
That was the time Rainbow Trust was actually decided upon, as in because
Okay.
I needed like that was me single-handedly at that time frame because I didn't know Francis at that time either, and it's like you want to have people from the same mindset, like get what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
So then we used to have few meetings. We had about few meetings, but then when it was brought, the 377 was brought back onto the table. That's when people were like, no, we can't do this. We can't come for meetings, or we can't come for events, or we can't like everything. All of a sudden, it was like 180 direct
No.
after it was brought back on the table. And people would be like, no, we can't do this. We can't have meetings. We can't have events. We can't. It was all that we can't again from
yeah,
what we had already thought of like having. So yeah, it was the fear basically, the fear at that time frame that people did not want to come back and whatever. So then that's when Goa Rainbow Trust was dormant for a period once again until 2017.
yeah,
2017,
Yeah.
right, Francis?
yeah.
2018.
20, yeah,
We met in 2017
correct.
and then we were talking about it on the bike and all that stuff. And in 2018 we registered, na?
Yeah, 2018 we registered. That was when yeah, in June something we met. 2018.
18 it was, sorry. Sure?
Yeah, 18. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what like
Yeah.
in 2013 was the time when I started exploring my own identity. Like before that, I didn't identify as gay per se. Like I did have a feeling like I was in that you could say that it was like actually a phase that I felt like I was bisexual. But like from 2013 onwards, I was like exploring my identity, and I came out in 2015. And then in 2018, in 2017, Goa had its first Pride. It was organized by someone else. But then in 2018, like we got together and we decided that okay, let's legally established Goa Rainbow Trust, and then like so that's from that moment on is like where my journey into the activism started. So with regards to 2013, I did I did watch some of the news outlets, having debates and all that. More that is what they do most of the time whenever
They just
anything
watch,
regarding the like Section 377, you have a debate going on, and like so I did see those, but like I was not very much attached to that whole thing because like I was still like trying to figure myself out.
okay.
But yes, the 2018, definitely the verdict was definitely something that
Huge punch.
it was
Huge thing.
No, because in 2013 also, during that time frame, the internet had just come up with these kind of topics also. Like it was still a taboo because today's day, if you look at it, you've got serials and you've got movies and all playing these roles, correct? That
Yeah,
time in 2013 also, those roles were not there.
definitely not.
even if they
Those roles
were,
were
it
not.
was like in a comedic kind of way. It was just comical.
Yeah.
Hmm. Be it
Not a
with
subject, not a subject to.
Not
Hmm.
something that's
It's
given
not a
proper
true
importance.
representation.
Just,
Yeah, not
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, the representation was like to make us look like idiots, basically, like a
Before
comic
that.
strip.
yeah.
Why? Again, why?
For
We don't
TRP,
have a
they
life.
would just stoop down to any level for their
That's
TRP.
yeah. So that's the problem. So in 2013, it was quite tough to getting people on board because you had the internet. I had that time the internet was there, no doubt. So finding people and then from the community and yeah, but because of the 370s and that was brought back onto the table. Everybody said no, might as
Yeah.
well not have anything to do with it because if they catch us and the cops catch us and all those kind of complicated because you don't know what's in their mind, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So fair enough. But then
So like in
you have
2013, like my journey started. Like I was meeting up with people and like they were also like scared to meet in public places.
hmm,
Like
yeah,
I did not care anyways. I was not, I mean that fear definitely was there about like being out in public with another guy and stuff like that, but I was not that scared as such. I didn't like really care.
no, because when we thought of me and Cheryl and all that time, when we had thought of having these meetings and all, we said we'll have it in the park or near the beach. But then like so many people because you have so many people then the cops will question you why are you all there, what is the reason,
What did you? Yeah.
and it's during daytime, it's nothing in the night by the way, but that
Exactly.
fear was there. Like cops, that word cops means okay fine, we are going back home, that's it.
yeah.
And
So
especially like
That's it.
considering the fact that for the meetings you all used to have flags and all that. I think for the first meeting you'll have the flags.
we had the flag, yeah.
Like, imagine sitting in a public space like a beach or something with the flag. I mean like cops would have a different kind of mindset at that time, right?
Yeah.
Also considering that Section 377 was reinforced.
Still active. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fear would definitely be greater.
yeah. So my next question is, what are those challenges you faced like when you started the NGO? So, and how many people were there in the very beginning, and now how it looks like right now? Like how many volunteers you are right now, and what was the scenario when you started this? Like what were those challenges and how you overcome them, and how many people supported you that time in the very beginning?
Okay, so with regards to like starting like from the legal establishment, we were like three of us. Like for a trust, you need three people to like register and organize. 3, 5, or 7, I think they have.
Yeah, an odd
That
number basically.
yeah, you need those many people. So it was Chris, our friend Rishabh, and I. And like right now, Rishabh is not associated with us anymore. But like we were three of us, and so plus we had one of Rishabh's friend also was there. So we were four of us who were like basically doing the run at that time, and like trying to get people to get involved and all that. And then once we started like opening up to memberships, like we have memberships open to everyone. We don't like have any bar, no age bar, no
Yeah.
gender bar, nothing, no sexuality bar also. Like everyone is welcome. We welcome allies also. And so like as of now we are at around I think 70 members if I'm not mistaken, Chris.
Yeah, about 70.
Yeah, around 70 members, registered
70
members.
heads, basically.
Yeah.
70 heads.
The
Okay.
running
Yeah.
around, 70 heads, but the running around is here.
Yeah,
The
mostly
two
like
of us.
Chris and
Yeah.
I, and like we do have other members on the board also. One of the members, Kshitij, does help a
Kshitij.
lot. And we have one member who is in Coimbatore right now. She like I think last year she moved to Coimbatore. And recently we had another person like join the board.
Okay.
Apart from that, like volunteership is like one place where we like have found like ourselves struggling a lot. It's like very difficult to like get people involved in a state like Goa. You have the same thing in a metro city like Mumbai or Delhi, like you will have that kind of response. But here we are like trying to figure out like what is that thing like which is stopping them. I mean definitely it is society in a way. Like okay, someone might see a person, you see that individual being involved with an organization that works for the LGBTQ community and may like get the wrong idea. So that
Exactly.
the fear
like,
is also there.
this is also a thing to always consider in the mind, like what the other may think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like in that aspect we have been struggling a lot, and still the struggle is real because like as Chris mentioned also, like 1.5 year went in the pandemic also, could not do anything
Yeah.
basically. And getting funds in is also difficult because like to run any organization you
need funds, right? You need funds.
Yeah. So without getting funds in, like now you have online platforms, right? For like video calling. Right now we're on Google Meet. We are on
Microsoft Teams.
we're on Microsoft Teams. Yeah. So Google Meet at least like is more free, like for a larger audience. But take for example Zoom. Zoom did have like a period where they had like this free segment for unlimited time or something.
Yeah.
But it was only few meetings that you could do that, right?
Yeah.
And we wanted to have sessions on Zoom, but when we looked up the the pricing, it was like we don't have funds to.
It has gone up like a boom.
Exactly, exactly. Like it was difficult for us, and so like right now we thought of doing it on Zoom only, the one which you're having. I mean, sorry, not Zoom, on Google Meet, because that is free. Like we're still like trying to get this fund, because again you don't have anything going on, people are not going to get involved anyway. But to get things going on, you need funds. So like it's that vicious cycle we are stuck in.
In order to carry forward the process, you need funds. In order to help people, you need funds. Fund, like it is a basic thing for any organization to do.
Yeah, and people have donated in the past, but like again that is getting spent. That has got spent.
Exactly. It's not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have sponsors or just donations? Do you have sponsors or do you just have donations?
We did have a few people who like partnered with us, and also like we had the Lalit group, Keshav Suri Foundation, who had sponsored us for Pride in 2019. Yeah, and we had partnered with other like outlets also. Like we partnered with the Park Hotels. We partnered with Rudy's Bar and Grill. We partnered with other people also, like to try and get some funds, and like we had a revenue share and all that.
And to build a network.
Yeah, to build a network also. I mean, this is the thing, like I think people have this idea about Goa that it's a
always
party hub.
Yeah,
it's always the beach.
Yeah, not just the beach, like any party.
Yeah.
It's like you get, for example, for the post-Pride party, we did get a response, but we tried to organize other things, so you don't get that response. It kind of like demotivates you in a way also.
Yeah, just
because
here for
you cannot
fun.
just because you cannot just because okay, like we said before, we've got about 70 odd people in the members group. So there's on WhatsApp, And Francis and I have been asking people, okay, like give us ideas or
What can be done?
silence.
So that involvement is not there.
So it's like we are in a classroom and we've got zombies. That's about it.
On a
Yeah,
complete
it's
scale.
like when the teacher asks questions and like no one has an answer, and then the teacher has to like pick one person up.
Yeah,
That kind of a situation.
Yeah, so
Like,
it
we
does.
have that too.
like the involvement and the dedication.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
like as an NGO, our job, our main focus has to be on like the work towards furthering the requirements of the community, right? It cannot be just parties. We are not an event management
Yeah,
company.
yeah. It's more
Right.
about
And like,
reaching
yes,
to people,
definitely,
give them platform.
yeah, definitely the social events do help in bringing the community together, but that cannot be the only thing that
Only thing,
moves
yeah.
forward, right?
But the
To
ultimate
focus
goal is something different, the bigger picture.
Yeah, yeah.
You
we
have
have
to
to-
think
Those
of the bigger picture.
they don't
Yeah.
get it, I presume. I presume these
Yeah.
people don't
Because it needs a
understand that
huge
concept.
vision. It's need a bigger vision for like someone to think about that, and not everyone is willing to see those pictures. For me, it's
Yeah, we have to focus on like sensitization. We have to focus on advocacy.
Yeah.
We have to focus on so many other things, like
Yeah.
even with respect to job creation in a way. Like how
Job
can we
creation.
get the LGBTQI community, especially like trans individuals, and not just like binary trans, not just trans men and trans women, but the non-binary trans community also, right? Because they are the ones who are most visible.
Exactly.
Like, and it's difficult for them to like express themselves in professional settings, because you have a lot of these you have the gender norms in the uniform itself most of
Yeah.
the time. Like, the uniforms are not that inclusive. It's very restrictive.
Hmm.
It's not very liberal so far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like for some people there is, for some people there are not. Like there always been different imbalances there.
Yeah, and I think a good thing which like recently what Axis Bank did was quite a good thing.
Yeah.
They incorporated a more gender neutral policy. Like, even with regards to their dress code, they
Yeah.
they eliminated that strictly male female dress code.
Okay.
And also, I think they are providing with, I think, like for partners or partners within the LGBT community, they are providing them also some kind. I think there is a policy for them also in place right now.
Like they are stepping forward for them.
Yeah, so that is a good thing which they have a good initiative, a step in the right direction. And I think many other companies should actually start following these.
Like exactly when someone steps up, it leads the path for the other organizations also. Like they are doing this, so we should
Creates
also
a
become up
domino
with that.
effect, and so everyone starts like,
Yeah.
even if
But-
they
but
don't accept it, it's like if at some point we do decide it's okay, we have backing. We'll not be the, because the first one is always a little like should I take this step, should I not, what would this do? But once it's started, the landslide is just, it's good.
Yeah, but then again, there's a problem with that landslide part, because there's a lot of tokenism which happens after that. It's like it becomes a trend rather than being actual.
Yeah.
You're actually impacting or actually addressing the issue. It becomes like just like for the sake of doing it, they do it.
Yeah,
to
it's
show
just
that
why
naam
stay
ke vaste
behind?
basically.
Yeah.
It just dragged the vision from the different stuff.
It's
It
not that
dragged the
you're
path.
actually interested in
Yeah.
watching it grow for the for the company or whatever.
Like
But
you are just doing it for the sake, like the other ones are
yeah,
also
because
doing. So
it's
yeah,
like
we should always.
it's like a copycat basically, na?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like why
what's
should we be left behind? Like it for the organization, it's like okay, we'll also do the same. Why should we on the backtrack? If they can do, we can also do. Like
can
forget the vision. Like okay, this is the trend, so now we want to have this thing in our offices also.
And that is what happens for like the entire Pride History Month also in June. That's what happens. You find companies changing their logos to like rainbows and stuff like that.
And then
Adding a rainbow.
1 month later, it's
and then
back.
1 month. It does make sense if like you have that rainbow for that 1 month also, fine. But if you also, have policies which are inclusive of
Yeah,
the
keep
LGBT, which
some of the
actually
policies.
doing work, then yeah, if you're actually doing work in that field also, like, hiring a diverse staff,
Individual. Mm.
it
Yeah.
makes more sense. Have policies which, benefit that diverse staff also. Like, for example, there are a few companies which provide uh, financial support to trans individuals for their, gender affirmative surgeries also, or their HRT treatments.
Yeah.
So that is actually benefiting the community. So putting a rainbow logo, like changing for that company to add a rainbow logo, it makes sense. But other companies which are not doing anything for the community, just for that 1 month, putting a rainbow logo,
Yeah,
it
like,
doesn't
look
make
at us. We
yeah,
are we are
exactly.
activists and choose us. Just for show.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
just to kind of reel in some extra money.
Yeah. So um I'll just ask the last few questions. So what sort of programs and events do you conduct in your so the NGO has been running for 3 years,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
what
We'll be completing 3 years in October
Mm.
31st.
so what sort
Same
of
day as Halloween.
programs, events? Huh? Pardon?
Same day as Halloween, we'll be completing 3 years.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So what sort of programs, seminars have you? So this is the second podcast. So other than this, what else, what sort of events, social or otherwise, have you conducted? Have you taken part in any court hearings, any form of activism? What else? What are the sort of things that you do if in your NGO?
So as of now, like as we're a fairly new organization, our main focus is on the education part, sensitization and all that. We do want to get into advocacy and all that, which will definitely involve government involvement and all that. Government
Yeah.
as in like local authorities and all of
Yeah.
that, and courts also maybe. But we do not have that expertise yet. So like as of now, our focus is on at least education, and side by side, we are building a network to kind of develop a skill set for that advocacy part also.
That's great,
Because,
actually.
again, like both Chris and I, and this is new for us also. Like we have not done this before. We have not run organizations before, right? So it's new for us. So we also need some kind of training in those fields. So that is
Hey,
something we're looking towards.
so it's like you are also in a learning process and it never
Yeah.
stops.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And as far as our uh, we have we mainly have organized Pride. We have had few, as Chris mentioned before. So we have had sessions like seminars in a few colleges.
Mhm.
Uh, one of those colleges, it was not a session as such. It was more like a discussion forum, and Chris was one of the panelists in that. So then we've also been like as you guys as we mentioned before. So we have been invited to a podcast or other interviews also, like video interviews or and yeah, like right now we are uh, we are organizing a webinar on the 19th, like to talk about misgendering and dead naming and like, what are the psychological uh, effects of that on the LGBTQI plus community, and especially people from trans community, the gender non-conforming community, and
Yeah.
other gender diverse communities. Like, what is the psychological impact of those two, basically, like misgendering and dead naming on them? And after that, we are planning to have a session on sexual abuse, which is again, we want to kind of raise awareness about what are the steps that not just
Can be
people from the
taken.
community itself. We're keeping it open to the general public. It's not specifically addressing sexual abuse against LGBTQIA plus individuals, But yeah, that is like that will be one of the focus. Like, what are the steps that LGBTQI plus individuals can take in case they find themselves like in that particular situation? Like from a medical perspective, like first response. From the legal perspective, like what are the legal kind of
Remedies.
protections?
Protocols and
Yeah, and also the psychological,
psychological.
mental health support that they can get. This is one thing. The next thing which we have in mind.
Okay. That's for
What
joining
else to set up?
your NGO, right?
Yeah, that is to become a member.
No, how can you sign up for the webinar?
Webinar.
But for the webinar also, the link is there in our on our Insta bio. It is
Okay.
there on our
Okay.
Facebook page, the registration link.
Okay.
And
Because we can try to do this. We can participate. It's a great cause, obviously, and just
Yeah.
topic alone is we can, but it's our exams start from the 20th, so we'll have to see on that.
20 to 26, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
but it's a
tough
great
days are
topic.
coming.
all the best for that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we need that actually.
Yeah, especially during the pandemic, like the entire like education has gotten a real big
Industry
hit.
has just gone so weird, and
Be it any age, be it any subject, be it any age, no matter. The whole structure is disturbed.
okay. And lastly, I'd like to ask, like you already mentioned it, but once again, how can somebody sort of become a member of your NGO, and how can somebody donate to your NGO for all our listeners?
Okay, for like yeah, signing up, like joining us, the membership form is there. With regards to donations, we are still like in the process of getting our ATG registration and also FCRA, like, which will be the next step. So until we get that, we cannot sign up with a gateway to have the donate button on our website.
Yeah.
We cannot have
like
the payment gateway.
a platform.
Okay, so yeah, we do have a donate page on our website, which has the our bank details and all that. Yeah, that is one way you can like donate, or you can like even like if you do intend to donate, or you can reach out to us on any of our social media. We can send you those details also, like personally, in case you cannot find it.
Okay. Okay. So
that was it, and it was so inspiring in all the ways, and I hope our audience will also love that, because it was a great talking session with you guys and learning all those, going through the experiences and the talk. It was such a great pleasure to have you guys here, to be honest.
once again, thank you so much.
Once again, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and it's actually the inspiration is also from your side for other people, other young people also, like to actually take these kind of conversations forward. So kudos to you guys.
We can
Always.
ignite like some sort of a fire in people, like yeah, this is something we should do more often.
Even
So,
small steps make big things coming up. The thought become things actually.
big.
The thought
Every
become
drop
things.
of water makes an ocean, right?
Ocean, yeah.
Yeah. And every drop contributes actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much once again.
Thank
It's
you so
been a
much
pleasure
again.
to talk to you.
So
It's
much
been
for
very
having us.
informative. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too, and all the best for your exams.
Thank you so much. Have all the best for your webinar as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And happy belated
Do
birthday.
register and do share the link around with your friends too.
We will. We'll definitely do something like we'll definitely post it around. But as for how many people we can get to register up, I'm not sure. Like we'll get at least
That's
probably 10,
understandable.
15.
I mean, you guys have exams. Exams are like
Exams are more important, by the way.
Yeah, but I mean,
No,
exams.
because
There'll be exams every other semester.
no.
But
What I meant was because see
you
again,
can access the
like
webinar
with us,
later also. It's going to be
we're
recorded.
going to be recorded.
That will be a great thing actually.
Yeah,
It'll
so
be on our YouTube.
That works. Yeah, that works.
okay.
because then maybe once we finish with the next webinar that we want to have for the rape victims, and that would make more. That would have
They would
more
both
ground.
make for good topics. We could just join in for both of them. But yeah.
Because those will be recorded anyways, both the sides, both the
Yeah, we'll definitely watch
adults.
Yeah, and
Yes,
also do
like-
feel free to like send in suggestions for topics also if you guys have any, or like even if you guys want to collaborate with us on any topic.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you guys,
If you at any
exactly.
point want some sort of a platform or audience, definitely reach out to us. Or like even in the future, whenever we have something, some other ideas, we would definitely love to reach out to you for another session of even a podcast or a seminar.
Yeah,
It's been
even
a
a
lovely
webinar,
session.
I mean anything. Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank
Thank you so much.
thank you so much.
Have a great day.
you.
Yeah,
You too.
you too.
Stay safe.
Yeah, thank you. Stay safe.